So in this module, you learned a lot about React Transition Group. This package which gives us all these components we used to animate things in React, especially and most of the time relevant when we are removing and adding elements to and from the DOM. There are alternatives to this package. One popular alternative is React Motion. If you Google for it, you'll find the GitHub repository where you find more instructions about it. Now, React Motion follows a totally different approach. In React Motion, for example, you don't really define manually the time an animation should take. Instead, React Motion tries to emulate real-world physics to figure out the best timing an animation should take, and it simply allows you to define end and starting states, and it tries its best to use these real-world physics to emulate or to interpolate the state in between. You can check out the various demos on this page to see if that's an effect you want, and then of course dive into the docs linked here on this page and seen on this page to use this library. It can be tough to get started with React Motion due to its very unorthodox way of thinking about animations, and some animations are kind of hard to do with it. But it might be awesome for a lot of other cases and might give you this more natural looking animation look you might want for certain kinds of animations. Another alternative is React Move, for which you can also simply Google to find its GitHub page or official web page. React Move has two basic components it exposes to you, which allow you to animate single items or groups of items. Animate and node group. And with React Move, you always work with objects describing the state of an animation. React Move is heavily influenced by D3.js transitions, so if you know that, you might have an edge using this. And in the end, you can find detailed docs and explanations on how it works in its documentation. Here you do define durations, but you then don't just define styles like opacity and so on, but you can really control way more with that and build more complex animations with it. So this might be especially interesting to you if you have more complex animations. And some examples like this nice switching between US states can be found on its page. It also has an element for animating groups, like here, these bars. Now again, this is a little bit of a more complex library. It might also have functionalities you don't need, so I recommend starting with React Transition Group. But if you need more control, React Move is an alternative you might want to look into. And finally, there is React Router Transition. That's another library I want to mention, though I'll be honest, there are more libraries than that. And you can get the feeling of a new React animation library coming up every week. But React Router Transition is a very interesting and special one. It is, as the name suggests, there to allow you to easily create route transitions, so animations between different routes. It builds up on React Motion, and it basically gives you this animated switch component, which you use to replace your normal router switch with, and it's made to work with React Router version 4, which I cover in this course, or higher. And animated switch then does all the same the normal switch does, but it allows you to define add enter, add leave, add active, and then a class name here, which is set up like this, to allow you to animate the routing. So to animate the switching of pages. And that is something I wanted to mention. You can dive deeper on this GitHub repository where you find links to the docs. Because animating route transitions can be very tricky with React Transition Group, the package I showed in detail in this module. And with the React Router Transition package, it's so much easier, and it allows you to really build a nice looking, highly dynamic application and add these route transitions if you need them.